Welcome to another episode of the Money Wheel Podcast. The journey to wealth starts here with your host, Don Shade.
Hello, my friend and future millionaire. Welcome to this episode of the Money Wheel. My name is Don Shade. Let me take just a moment here and share a story with you, and I'm going to prove a point here at the end. But I think back to when I was in high school. My first car was a AMC Eagle. Basically, back then, it was a $500 car. But what we did back then, we put stereos in and all that kind of stuff. It was kind of one of those deals. They could tell how cool you were by how loud your stereo was, I guess. But anyway, I had a $500 car, and I had about $2,500 worth of stereo equipment in it. Now, at the time, I worked summer jobs and that kind of stuff, but minimum wage was $4.25 back then. So I didn't have a lot of money. Now, it took me a couple years to build this stereo the way I wanted it. And I'll be honest with you, to look back on it now, I mean, it was a foolish way to spend that kind of money. But the point I want to make to you is this. Where did I ever come up with $2,500 to put into a car stereo and an alarm system? Because when you had that kind of stereo equipment, you needed an alarm to protect it. Anyway, what I want you to think about is this. When I did that and built that stereo, there was nothing going to stop me. That was my dream, so to speak. I wanted a car with a loud stereo. It didn't matter if it started every time or not. When you start to look at your business, what is it that will make you unstoppable? Because it didn't matter to me what it was going to take to build that stereo. That's what I wanted, and that's what I was going to have. That was my laser beam focus. That was my goal. As you start getting into your internet business and challenges come up, are you going to have that laser beam focus that this is what I want? No matter what happens, I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to do this until I have it built. I didn't have that stereo system put together for a couple years, but once I had it, it was an amazing thing. Everything that I did was worth it to me at the time. That's where I was as a teenager. That was my mindset. And what it comes down to with you is you're going to look back, and everything you did, the struggles you're going through now, are going to be so worth it. You know, the first time that you ever drove a car, you probably weren't the best at it. But you didn't jump out, slam the door, and say, well, I sucked at that, so we're never doing that again. You practiced at it until you got good. And with all that being said, I want you to look at your new business the same way. Or maybe you have an existing business that has had a lot of struggles with everything that's going on, and you're not real sure what you're going to do or how you're going to turn the corner to get yourself out of it. Start thinking back to the reason you got into business or the reason you want to build a business. What is it that will make you unstoppable? Well, that's everything I have for today. We'll see you next time on the Money Wheel.
Thank you for listening to the Money Wheel Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and like the podcast. For everything that was talked about in today's amazing show, go to moneywheelpodcast.com and get today's show notes, past episodes, and most importantly, you can connect with Don Shade on all his social media platforms. Again, at moneywheelpodcast.com. If you are just looking to email Don, you can email him at don@moneywheelpodcast.com. For a list of all our tools we use in our business, you can go to moneywheelpodcast.com/resources. Again, thank you for listening to today's podcast, and see you in our next episode of the Money Wheel Podcast.